linear equations for particular variables now. So in other words, we're going to treat r as our variable. The first one says I equals PRT, the famous interest equation or interest formula. And we are going to treat r as the variable, and therefore all of the other variables will be treated as numbers, such as constants, right? Pretending they're constants because we're going to isolate the r. So if our goal is to isolate the r, we're going to have to get rid of the p and the t. So let's divide pt on both sides here, because that would yield on the left-hand side I over pt, and on the right-hand side, after the p's cancel and the t's cancel, you're left with r. So the solution is r equals I over pt. We isolated r, we solved for r. So it's only complicated because it looks complicated with all the letters floating around potentially, but it's really nothing different than all of the other properties we deal with when we're working with regular numbers. Perimeter equation here for a triangle. P equals a plus b plus c. They want us to solve for c. So we don't want the a and we don't want the b. So I'm going to subtract those from the right-hand side. Whatever we do to the right, we must also do to the left. So it looks like the result here is going to be p minus a minus b. And on the right-hand side, after cancellation, all that's left is the letter c. So what does c equal? Well, c equals p minus a minus b. They're different letters. They're not like terms. You're just done. There's nothing more you can do. So why don't you try this one on your own? This is a standard algebra type problem where we have to isolate y. You might recognize it from slope-intercept form or linear equations, linear functions. But assuming you paused and tried this on your own, if I were going to isolate the y, I would want to get the y by itself, so I'd have to subtract 29x from both sides. And for politeness sake, when I do these, I like to put the 5y, and then I actually put the negative 29x first. And the main reason I choose to do that is because I know that in other examples I really want to get that x first, because it looks more aligned with the slope-intercept form of a linear function. Still trying to isolate the y, so divide both sides by 5. So now y is isolated, and it's equal to negative 29x minus 11 over 5. Again, for a little bit of politeness sake here, for other types of problems, I'm going to write this as negative 29/5 x minus 11/5. Although our software will allow you to answer either of these as correct answers, either this part or the bottom one, I prefer the bottom one because again it looks a whole lot like the slope-intercept form of a line, which is a technique that we'll need